I think most people probably are ready for Christmas now. In-store, so you've got your in-store stuff already up in there, your merchandising, and similar with the online. But even so, there are still some tips, and some of these tips actually aren't just necessarily for Christmas, sort of going beyond that as well. Just a very, very quick piece about SagePay. We're part of Sage Group, payment services provider. We do a range of payment solutions, so from online, face-to-face, mail and telephone order, and e-invoicing. And as we're part of the Sage Group, we also integrate very easily into the Sage accounting tools as well. Just wanted to do a bit of a quick recap on Christmas last year, and these may be numbers that some of you have seen before. But Cyber Monday, which is typically the first Monday in December, saw 113 million visits to online stores last year. 400 million hours were spent shopping online, and Amazon hired 15,000 temporary staff. Yep, 15,000 temporary staff to cope with the extra demand. There's some other figures as well. Online spending was predicted to be 10 billion last year. It actually hit 11 billion. So, and Office for National Statistics is kind of saying, well, they're not kind of, they are saying if you compare real disposable income, certainly the first quarter of 2014 saw a 2.2% increase over the first quarter of 2013. Now, I've not seen any statements to say that we're heading towards another recession or the economy is slowing down, so I think we can all feel pretty confident that, you know, household incomes are slowly rising, and so therefore we should expect this Christmas to be pretty bumper. So just for Christmas, you know, Cyber Monday will be the 1st of December this year. Mondays are typically the busiest shopping days, and the peak times are between 12 and 1, and then later in the evening when people are kind of at home browsing on their tablets. And as Steve just said, you know, if you've got advertising happening at that time, you're likely to get a peak hit to your site in the evening. So being prepared for Cyber Monday, getting yourself ready for that, that's definitely one of my tips. Then the next one is, and again, it's already been mentioned, but it's about knowing what is going on your website, and in particular, where your dropouts are occurring. So, quick show of hands, how many of you do know where dropouts are occurring on your sites? Okay, that's yeah. So there's still a lot to be done then. We did some research this year. We do it every year, but we did some research this year, and we found that the most common places for dropouts were actually the payment pages. I think for a lot of companies, when you're developing your website, you're thinking about your products or your solutions that you're selling. You're thinking about the content being optimized, getting yourself to the top of the search rankings. But when it comes to the payment bit, that's the tenuous part, because that's the part when people are handing over their money to you. So if people are dropping out of your payment pages, you need to know why, and there could be a number of reasons for that. It could be that you're asking for too much information. Joanna mentioned this earlier. You know, do you need to put in your profession? Do you need to give your age in order to make a payment? So make it simple, make it frictionless. We talk about that as a term. But just get the information that you absolutely need. Make it easy to fill in the form. If people get it wrong, then, you know, perhaps they're just a little, oops, just need to fill this in. Don't make them refill in the form all over again. Delivery costs as well is another one. It's best to be upfront about what the delivery costs are. Nobody likes to get to the end of the payment page and then discover you're going to get a delivery charge that you hadn't expected. And people want delivery costs either to be, well, they want delivery to be fast or they want it to be cheap. So yeah, offer some options, but you don't need to be overcomplicated about it. The other thing as well is variety of payments. Again, we did some research. We interviewed 1,000 consumers, and we asked them about their in-store experience, but I think it also can relate well to online as well, on the e-commerce side. So 17% of shoppers said that if they were in the store and that store only accepted cash and they didn't have enough cash on them, they would put those items back on the shelf and they would walk out of the store. 36% of shoppers said that they would leave a store if it didn't offer them their preferred payment choice. So again, it is worthwhile making sure that you are offering a variety of choices. And I know for some retailers, they say that some of the payment options out there can be very expensive. But if you're trying to, and certainly at Christmas, you want to be upselling, you're offering bundles. So it makes sense to offer as many payment options as possible and effectively try and encourage people to spend more money. Consumer choice. I don't think consumers actually demand choice now. I think we all expect choice. And it's been talked about in terms of choosing how you want to browse, how you want to shop, whether that be in store, online. And that moves on to then mobile optimization. And again, these stats are from our 2014 report. We found that 40% of businesses had a mobile optimized site. And I know that's been talked about as well. It is important to have your site mobile optimized. And then we found that 44% of what we called successful businesses, so for us a successful business was one whose revenue growth had been 21% or more over a 12-month period or over that previous year. And so 44% of those had a mobile app. Mobile app might not be relevant to all, but it's probably worth investigating and looking into. As part of kind of that payment process and making it nice and frictionless, we talk about a slick checkout. This is tokenization. I think most people will know this as kind of that Amazon one-click experience where effectively you've put your card details in once. Those card details are then encrypted and stored probably. Well, we store them offline. We store them in a secure server. And then for the user or for the shopper, that's much easier when you go to make repeat purchases. All you have to do is put in either a password or your 3-digit number from your card. There's another side to it as well. We found, again, from our research, that a number of retailers were telling us because you've got tokenization, you can have a lower level of PCI compliance. And so on average, that was saving retailers around £6,000. So if you're not offering tokenization, it's well worth looking into. And then the final kind of area, if you like, or tip, was fraud versus usability. So again, from the research that we did, we found that businesses were losing, on average, over £4,000 to fraud over a year. Now, for some companies, that probably doesn't sound like an awful lot, and that's fine. Because if your fraud rules are too tight, the chances are that you're actually turning away genuine business. But if your fraud rules are too lax, then obviously you're losing too much money. So it's finding the balance, and that's kind of the usability bit. And that balance will be right for you. So if you're not prepared to lose any money in fraud and you're willing to turn away genuine customers, that's absolutely fine. We also found as well that 39% of the businesses only used the free fraud tools that were provided by their payment services provider. So again, if fraud, and I'm sure fraud is important to all of you, it may well be worth investing in the additional fraud tools that are out there. This really was just kind of the future of payments. So again, as I say, from the research that we did, we interviewed 1,000 consumers. And interestingly, 16% of them thought that we would no longer have banknotes. So I think the vast majority of people believe that, by 2025, we're still going to be using cash. It's not going away as quickly as I think some people do or have postulated. But 47% of consumers felt that we might be having fingerprint technology by then. So that was really kind of my sort of top tips, if you like, or my suggestions for getting yourselves ready for Christmas. And we have got a Cyber Monday seasonal guide that is is available. We had that downstairs, so that's available for people to take away. There's a lot more in there as well. So that's me, and thank you very much.